Scroll.
Don't label us left or right. Our American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising 'cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours inside.
Good morning, Sovereign Minds. Ooh, boom shakalaka. Oh yeah, we gotta get the other intro.
I was wondering.
Okay, what's
Yeah, we need that one.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what's going on yet. Right. Okay. Oh.
No.
Well, we'll have to make sure we get it right next time. Okay. I thought it was going to be seamless and then we come on. I guess that's my fault. We'll get it.
Yep. Little by little.
All right. So, wow. We're back again. It's November 15th, Sovereign Mind podcast. Still ironing out the bugs, but we're getting there. And so we're starting to feel better and better about this. I'm here in the studio with my sister Linda. We got Eli in the back there.
Yep. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. And we are on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything else that we can figure. We need to talk about getting on Rumble. We've been meaning to do that. Haven't done it yet. We want you to start helping us support this program, okay? And we need donations to continue this podcast. If you can help us out, make the checks out to Pecan and write media in the reference line part there. And send it to
14421 Old Oregon Trail, Suite B, Redding, California, 96003.
And the fun never stops.
And again, that's Pecan, Pecan.
Yeah. So, and we want you to like and hit the like button and share this, because that's how we're going to get this out there is get it shared. And the more that you share it, the more the algorithms start to recommend it for other people. So we really need your guys' help out there to make sure you like and share, and then
smash the bell.
Smash the bell for the instant notification button. So,
that's what it's all about, is we need to get it out there more and more with things like this. And so just keep sharing it, everybody, if you would, please.
Absolutely. So what I want to do as well today, let's start off with one of the videos. I want to start off with the three war stories. We're going to play about 55 seconds of that. This is Bill Whittle, and I think that the gloves are coming off, and people need to see and understand. So we'll play about 55 seconds of this. Go ahead and hit it anytime you're ready, Eli.
If you haven't realized it by now, America is at war. Really at war. An existential war for the future of this country. There's an old saw that says that generals and admirals are always preparing to fight the last war. That's true for populations as well. We're all prepared to fight the last war. We thought that the censorship and the intimidation would come in the form of men with guns with black uniforms, and so we prepared ourselves for that. We are a heavily armed culture, but they're not coming at us with guys with machine guns. And they're not coming at us with guys in tanks. They're coming at us with ideas. They're coming at us with psychological warfare. They're coming at us with emergency mandates. They're coming at us with weapons that we not only were not ready for, we couldn't even imagine. We are at war, and we are at a stage in this war that has been repeated many times in human history. So this is what I want to talk to you about today. I study history. I study the history of warfare.
That's good right there.
And I don't just...
That's good. And so I thought that was important, because we need to understand we're at war. This isn't a game.
Right, yeah.
The end result, if we lose this war, is going to be the same as if it was a conventional warfare. It's going to be, look what they've done in the past. I mean, people end up going into the ditches at some point, whether it's through, taking them out and shooting them. I don't know if that would be the case, but maybe they put them in camps, or maybe they don't treat them in the hospital.
Right.
Maybe they, segregate you out if you don't have a vaccine passport. This is what's going on today. And, there was an article that was published.
And it can get worse and worse, like he said, just like any war. I mean, if you don't see it coming, they're not going to stop.
Well,
they just keep going and going.
There is no stopping at this point. Now, this is an article that came from the Sacramento Bee, and this kind of illustrates what we're talking about on this psychological crap, and we're kind of going to go through this. Now, this is the Sacramento Bee talking about Shasta County and some of the other counties in California in general. Here's the title: Angry, Violent, Toxic, How Extremists Are Drowning Out Local California Governments. Now, boy, I'll tell you what, that is the biggest load of bull crap I've ever heard in my life. But that's what these guys do. They want to give you headlines that demonize everybody.
If you take away the first three words in that, we are extremists. I guess you could call us that.
So
but we are taking back our government.
Extremist at what?
You know what I mean?
The Constitution, our
exactly.
liberty.
That's where I'm going. Because we're
government.
We're exercising our rights.
Right. So we've got three of, and so I'm going to go through this, and then I have a little talking points. But the three of the Shasta County elected supervisors have the sort of conservative credentials that would normally guarantee a long political career in a Republican stronghold. Evidently.
Yeah, sort of. That's just
except that they really aren't.
Right, sort of.
Supervisor Mary Rickett owns a beef operation. Leonard Modi is a former beat cop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And Joe Chimenti is a former cop himself who headed the Pro-Development Building Trade Council. Okay.
I'm not sure what that is.
But that's not enough for the constituents. For much of the past 2 years, vocal extremists have now. If you look at what's going on across the nation, everybody's. I mean, this is what they did to the Tea Party way back in the day. They're extremists. They're violent. They want to use violence against everybody.
Right.
It's all the same Marxist demonizing, trying to brand your enemy with something that they're not necessarily that they're really not. So that you can marginalize them and propagandize the rest of the population against them, so you have a division.
Right, and they're the ones that are spewing the toxic things.
Yeah,
it's not that it wasn't the Tea Party. It's not the people now that are taking things back.
So, for much of the past 2 years, vocal extremists have swarmed their board meetings. Translated into English, that's concerned citizens have started showing up because they know that their government is no longer operating for their benefit. Spewing a toxic mix of conspiracy theories and violent rhetoric under the pretext of rebellion against Governor Gavin Newsom's pandemic edicts. Well, edicts, that's a good way to put,
Are we rebelling against Newsom? Yes.
Yeah,
we are.
Rules that officials in Shasta County were mostly ignoring anyway. Really? Really? So
let's see, locking us out of the boardroom.
There's a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
and of course they try to associate the Proud Boys and are there people that show up that might have a different point of view than maybe the general populace? Sure. Are some people, do they show up in costumes? Yeah. Does that mean
that they're part of us?
Does that mean that whatever the Board of Supervisors are doing, are they listening to their constituents? Are they out of control? Are they following whatever edicts come out of Sacramento without even taking into consideration the local population's needs?
Right. It doesn't excuse their behavior, no matter who comes and what caused
but
them.
But that's what this is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It doesn't excuse their behavior.
But that's what this is. This is about refocusing. It's like a
Right.
spin. It's like
You're pivoting.
They're pivoting exactly from the real problem and trying to make it someone else's that is the problem. Then came Carlos Zapata, a restaurant owner and militia member with ties to the Proud Boys, an organization the FBI calls extremist group. Now let's talk about the FBI here lately. They're not an extremist group, are they?
No.
They're not targeting American citizens. They're not targeting parents.
No.
I mean, we just got the Steele dossier that came out that is now the investigation going on by Durham that showed that the FBI knew that the informant guys on the Steele dossier lied. They targeted individuals. They were working at the behest of the Clinton campaign. Those are but it's everybody else, right?
Right, yeah.
So
there's no corruption in the FBI, and they're not bad people. Come on.
So of course Zapata and his activists created a local political movement called the Red, White, and Blueprint. Okay, that's fine. Supporters began collecting signatures to recall the 3 supervisors. No, they weren't part of the recall that much. They were documenting the recall of the Red, White, and Blueprint, but they weren't in charge of it.
No.
In fact, we didn't even really know them because me and you were the guys who were running that show. Okay. But of course, I didn't even get mentioned in here, interestingly enough.
Why should we?
I don't care. Supporters began collecting signatures to recall 3 supervisors on the 5-member board. The 3 supervisors that kept following Gavin Mussolini's orders to the T. They did everything that they said. And it's all about money.
I was going to say. And the bottom line is money. It had nothing to do with what was right, wrong, or whatever. It was because they were afraid of losing the money.
And I like this. Although the activists eventually only received enough signatures to have a recall election against Modi, let me tell you something. You better be worried, Mary. Because we didn't have time to get your signatures. The inference is that there's not enough people that would sign the documents to recall you. And let me tell you, you don't know anything.
I know. I had this conversation with somebody the other day. I said, you guys don't even know how many signatures were gathered.
Exactly.
We never said how many signatures. It could be 100, it could be 10, it could be 5. You have no idea.
If we didn't have fires, 110-degree weather, smoke every single day of the summer practically with the Dixie fire going on, the Fawn fire, the places that we were canvassing in Modi's district, half of them are burnt out, out in the country, traveling down roads. It took a little more time to get Modi than we anticipated.
Yes,
and it was a ton of work because of the smoke, the heat. You want to go out and knock on doors in 110-degree heat with smoke? Okay, so there was a lot of days that we couldn't. And if you go back and you look at the days...
It's like 33, 34 days.
Out of the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we had a little more time, which they didn't grant us, guarantee you Mary Rickards' head would be on the chopping block right now, too. And it's not over.
I was going to say it's not over yet. Just because we're working on Leonard right now doesn't mean that you're safe, Mary.
Our biggest target was Modi, because Modi is the head of the snake. Everybody knows it. We made sure we got Modi, but that doesn't mean that Mary's off the hook. And that doesn't mean
not going away.
That we're not going away. And I'll tell you what, there's a ton of people. I think Mary in her district is actually more hated than Modi in his district. Okay.
That could be a toss-up, but
although they could be running neck and neck.
Yeah, they could be running neck and neck on that one.
Okay, so gadflies and conspiratory theorists and all this crap. These people are so good at pointing the fingers, but it's just like the FBI targeting, or the DOJ, Department of Justice, and what's his name up there that's been on the grill for the last couple of weeks. Can't think of his name right off the AG. They're targeting American parents because they're mad about the school board meetings, for example, about teaching them critical race theory, about Marxism, education, about Antifa posters all over in the classroom. The American people and the parents of these kids have finally woken up to the fact that these guys are teaching them how to be good little Marxists, are teaching them to hate themselves, are teaching them to hate America, and they've had enough. But they're the extremists, okay? While they shout, ramble on, and spew misinformation. Okay, and while these guys try to get rid of our freedom of speech, our freedom of religion. Remember, our freedom of speech. They don't want you speaking up. They time you. Make sure that you can't talk any longer than 3 minutes. They shut down the boardrooms. They took the seats out of the boardroom so that nobody could even sit down out in 110-degree heat. They wouldn't even open up the freaking doors. Okay, so getting rid of your free speech. And the left hasn't been trying to get rid of our guns lately by any chance. Oh, they wouldn't take our guns away, would they?
No.
They lie about the fact that they're trying to get our guns. So if you go right down through it, what you find is that these guys are trying to disassemble the Constitution and completely get rid of all of our rights. That's what this is about, and people are starting to wake up to medical freedom. Oh, gee, get the jab, or you lose your job.
Yeah.
No, that's not coercion. That's not out of control government. It's for the good of everybody. Except that all the studies are saying that natural immunity is better than the jab.
Yeah, but like you say, all from the beginning of this with them, that's what it's been about, is to control and take away our liberties and freedoms. And they don't stop at anything. They will not stop until the people start standing up, which they are doing now, and they don't like it.
What this is about is shut up and take it. That's what this is about. Shut up and take it. That's what they want. And you know something? No, we're not going to do that. We're not shutting up. We're not going to keep taking it. And these guys are out of control. That's the real deal. And we can go on to this article. I've got a little talking points, if you will, that I
and like our local board of supervisors, they never thought the people would stand up. They never thought it would come to a recall.
They didn't.
They thought they had it above everybody.
They never thought the recall would be successful.
That's what I mean. They didn't think anything like that would happen
and I'll tell you what,
County.
The recall is successful getting Modi. We're starting to surround. It doesn't look like Chimente's going to run. Did it put the fear of God in all three of them? Maybe that was the intention.
Yeah.
Okay. If we couldn't get them all, and did we bite off a little more than we could chew under the circumstances? Yes. I would never do a recall.
We learned a lot with it. I mean, nobody had ever done it to the degree that we were working with.
I would never do a recall in Shasta County in the summer, number one, ever. It's too hard. It's too hot. You can't walk around in the districts.
And of course, we always have fires in the summer times anymore in California.
Now you got smoke.
Yeah.
All right. So if we do another recall, I'll tell you what, it's going to be in the spring, fall, or winter, because now you can get out there. You're not going to be hamstrung by the heat and the smoke. Okay. So we got one of them. Okay. We might just get the other two anyway. Okay.
Yeah, like I said before, we're not going away. It doesn't mean because we're working on Leonard right now that everything else is going to go away and we're not going to do anything.
So here's my talking point that I wrote this morning real quickly in about 5 minutes. The whole article is propaganda and misinformation designed to front run and frame the narrative for protests to come. There's going to be more and more protests due to out of control government, shortages, inflation. They no longer have the consent of the governed. Okay. And they know it. That's what this is all about. People are saying, you know something? You're not our masters. We the people are the government, not you. They don't listen to you. Could fill up the boardroom.
You work for us.
That's right. But not according to the paper.
We pay you.
They brand us as violent and domestic terrorists while watching the progressive left destroy our cities, impoverish our people through their Marxist Keynesian policies. They sell their souls and our freedom for fiat currency while licking the boots of progressive Marxists in Sacramento and Washington. That's really what's going on. This whole emergency came out. All of a sudden, we got all this emergency funds. These guys are sitting there with their hands out, licking the boots of Sacramento and Mussolini and Mr. Dementia down in Washington, because that's how they're controlling our local boards of supervisors, because they know that they're in such bad shape financially that these morons think that they're saving us by giving us taking our freedom away.
They don't think past the money. All they think about is we've got the money. Oh, we're good now.
While the bought and paid for mainstream media and the local left minions ignore any facts that refute the narrative. The ones that say this is all for our own good. Right now the credibility polls are at 0. They are the victims, according to them, and we are the enemy. Is there anybody kind of get, okay, they're the victims and we're the enemy? Really? Their goals is to get rid of the Constitution, and they've stated it over and over and over again. You know, they don't get out and say, oh, there's no critical race theory. They say, oh, but there is. Oh, we're not trying to get rid of your freedom of speech. Sit down and shut up. You know, so we're not trying to get your guns, but yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So these guys are liars. And this is a perception deception. This is a psyop. So I want to kind of go with the next. I guess I'm on a rant here. I'm kind of pissed. I want to go with the next, the China Crumbles, the China Crumbles video here. And we want to play about 5 minutes, 36 seconds of it. And what this is this tells you what your perception and how it can be deceive you and deceive your mind by showing you one thing over and over and over again, and tricking your mind into thinking it's something else. And so this is just a little demonstration of how that works, but it's very effective if you know what you're doing. And
it's something that's been going on for a long time. For a long time, people haven't realized it. I don't think until lately, stuff is coming out more and more about this type of thing.
So let's go ahead and roll this. This is Bill Whittle again, and this is a couple weeks ago, but I think this is important. One of the most important videos I've seen. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but let's look at 5 minutes. Maybe we'll watch the next one, the next part of it next week, or we'll post it and you can watch the rest of it. But go ahead. Let's see.
Just think about all of the freedoms that we've lost in the last several years and all of the ones that are under attack now, forced vaccinations, all kinds of things like this, things that we never thought we'd tolerate. But they're happening here in America. And the reason they're happening is because armed government agents are coming in and kicking down our doors, putting guns to our heads, and forcing us to comply with their tyrannical demands. Oh, wait, that's not exactly what happened, is it? No, the reason that hasn't happened, I'm quite sure, is because we have a Second Amendment to protect us against that kind of thing. Since so many Americans own firearms, as I used to before my tragic boating accident, that has simply been off the table. The Second Amendment has done exactly what it's supposed to do. And it's left these people with nothing but a search for other alternatives, and they've managed to come up with them. They've managed to control the perception battlefield. Now, we always talk about the narrative, and that's clearly the giant Everest of perception. This story that's constantly told by the left-wing media. We hear it everywhere. We hear it in all of the entertainment outlets, hear it on late-night talk shows, which used to be completely politically neutral. We are in a perception war, and all of these freedoms that we are experiencing being under heavy attack are under attack not through people with guns, but through people with messages and ideas. They are able to control our perception. And by controlling our perception, they control our behavior. And I wanted to dedicate an episode to explaining just how powerful this is, how it is done to some degree, and then we'll take a specific example of how the perception battlefield has been framed in so many of our minds. It's just simply not true. So let's start with a simple one. You probably recognize this picture. It's a fairly famous picture. It's taken from Michael Collins on board Columbia, the Apollo 11 command module. Now, you can see the window that Collins is taking the picture through. And out in the foreground is the ascent module of the lunar module. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are in that vehicle. And behind it is the surface of the moon, and behind that, off in the distance, is planet Earth. Somebody pointed out something to me this morning about that picture. We've all seen it. It's a cool piece of Apollo hardware photo. But did it ever occur to you that encapsulated in this one photo is every single known living creature in the entire universe except for Michael Collins? Kind of cool, isn't it? Every living thing known to mankind is in this picture except Michael Collins. He's managed in one photograph to not only remove himself from every other human being alive, but from every form of life on the planet. That's a remarkable perspective shift, but that's a small example of what perception can do. Now, this one I'm going to take a little more time with because it's worth it. I'm going to play for you a piece of audio. It's people chanting. And you're going to have to take my word for it. If you don't believe me, you can play it again with your eyes closed. But I'm going to go through this 6 or 7 times because it needs to be said. First, I'm going to play the audio. And then I'm going to play the audio, and I'm going to put a sentence up there. And your mind will change what you hear, even though what you hear remains exactly the same. I saw this earlier today on TikTok from this fellow. So, same exact audio, and listen to what your brain is doing using the same data.
That is embarrassing! 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 That is embarrassing!
So what's happening here? Well, your brain sees the printed words that I put up there, and your brain is now looking for that pattern. And you're looking for that pattern in what is a very variable set of sounds. Could be really just about anything. And when you know what to look for, your brain, which is so highly developed to recognize patterns, that's exactly what intelligence is, by the way, it's just the recognition of patterns. Your brain is so highly developed at doing that, that you will hear different words in your head, even though the audio is exactly the same, based on what your eyes are telling you to expect to hear. That's a shadow of the power of perception. So I told you we take a specific example, and I thought we might do that. Let's talk about China. You know, China, the future, the rising superpower where everything is new and everything is.
And we're going to come back and we're going to look at China because they've been using these techniques for quite some time on our perception. And let's go back to the article from the Sacramento Bee and see how they're trying to manipulate our perceptions as we've been talking about. You know,
Well, through the whole thing, that's what they're doing.
well, let's just read a little bit out of this, and let's see. It hasn't happened yet in California, but local activists have seized on vaccine and mask mandates, business restrictions, and animus for nuisance to align once disparaged groups under the umbrella of fighting for freedom. I mean, good grief. I mean, you talk about twisting the truth into something that should be good as being bad. While the attempt to recall the governor failed, it further motivated activists to descend on the city and city councils and increasingly school boards, because people have woken up to the fact that the only control they have is their local city, county.
Right. That's where we have to start.
And school boards. You have to start there because those are the guys you vote in and out. Those guys have more control in those districts and in those school districts than the governor has.
Right. Well, those people you can touch. You know, when we first started, like the Tea Party and everything, we were, you know, looking at the federal side of everything. And we soon discovered that, like you say, you've got to go back to the local because we actually have the power to take them out of office.
Absolutely.
Real easy.
So
because
if they get voted out by the people and replaced with people who will believe in the Constitution, let's read this next sentence. In Rockland, law enforcement now attends school board meetings, which have become increasingly contentious and riddled with misinformation and conspiracies. It can't be that the people have figured out how to preserve their rights. Couldn't be that. Okay.
It couldn't be that it's the other way around. They're feeding the people and the students misinformation.
Well,
now could it?
But that's what this is all about.
Right.
This is the perception deception. You're going to need a lot more police than that, Matthew Cropley, a parent, said at one of the meetings. He claimed that separating unmasked and masked students is a form of modern segregation comparable to slavery, Native American genocide, and Japanese internment camps. I mean, unbelievable. And even if the guy said that, Is he that far off the mark as far as a form of segregation, a form of slavery?
What do you call it? You don't have the freedom.
Now,
so what do you call it if you don't have freedom?
Native American genocide. You know, I've been reading a book called, it's a historical book called the Empire of the Summer Moon. And it talks about the Comanches and the Texans. And let me tell you, they don't talk about the genocide that the Comanches inflicted upon the Texans.
No, you can't be telling people about that.
You
part.
go back and read historically, they were killing people right and left, and they were, so it was a fight over land. Was it political? Yes, but the fact is that it takes two to tango here in this whole genocide thing is a bunch of crap. Okay, because on the American Indians, did it happen? Yeah, on both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it make it better for one than the other? No, it's all bad.
And it's been going on forever. It's not just the Indians.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
what they're doing that's a perception twist. The Native American genocide. Well, why don't we talk about the early Texan genocide by the Indians?
Right.
See, because, and I'm not saying I'm siding one side or the other as much as I'm saying that you're getting not the full story.
That's where I was going to go.
And a half-truth is a lie. Okay? And that's the perception deception. Central to many of these efforts, Christian church leaders, including many who have boasted about their defying public health orders. Well, wait a minute. Defying public health orders. We'll let you go to Walmart, but you can't sing in church. We'll take away your freedom of religion. Remember the Constitution?
Right.
We'll take away your freedom of religion, but it's okay to go to Lowe's.
Yeah, because
or Walmart.
We say so.
Okay, so again, they are twisting things for the perception of the public. Defying public health orders. Well, you know something? If there was a legitimate emergency, that might be one thing. But when you look at all the data, the emergency should have been over a month. It was the 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Well, yeah, but they couldn't do that. Then they couldn't get people to go get the jab. I'm just saying.
So now we go a little farther. California is home to more than 600 city councils, 58 boards of supervisors, and hundreds of school boards, all of them holding public meetings that a few years ago were almost ignored. I wonder why. Why.
See, it backfired on them because they made the parents started taking the kids out of school.
Right.
So then the parents were looking over their shoulder going, what are you learning?
Well, that's it. That's right.
Whoa.
Homeschooling was a mandatory thing, and now everybody started seeing what was going on. Not only that, the founders set up a constitutional republic, not a democracy, another perception deception, so that they wanted equal and separated powers, and the biggest power was at the local level, at the school boards, at the county boards of supervisors, at the city council, because that was where the most control was issued over the people, over their governor. Over their governing authorities, over their elected officials, okay? And so they had direct contact with them so that if they didn't like what they're doing, you get rid of them and you put somebody in there that reflected what the public wanted.
Yes.
Okay, that's what they're not talking about. So the separation of powers is completely disintegrated when you initiate an emergency that has no end to it, that gets rid of all your constitutional rights, consolidates all the power, whether it's in the governor or in the presidency, and that's exactly the opposite of what the founding fathers wanted, because they knew that sooner or later, if you get too much power consolidated in one spot, you're going to lose control of these guys.
And it wasn't an emergency. Again, the perception. They made it seem to people that it was an emergency. And most people in the beginning thought it was, till again, they got their eyes open and went, what? No, there is no emergency.
This article,
there is no law to, mandate masks.
This article is the most disingenuous piece of dog shit I've ever seen when you read it. But there's people who'll eat this crap right up. Let's see. Defying public made a show of doling out exemptions for people who won't take the vaccine. How many people have died? We've got stats from the vaccine. It's not safe. In fact, I've got a couple of clips. Fauci on a radio program, I think it's the Daily Call, or no, it's not the Daily. It's called the Daily out of New York. Admitted that the vaccines weren't working out like they were supposed to. The efficacy, the only answer now is more money and boosters. Yeah. He said that on Sunday.
And we have to change the narrative because it's not working with the people.
Bill Gates, you can Google these. Bill Gates just said, and I'll try to get that clip up. I don't know. I should have got it up already. I think I might have it. I'll try to send it over there. Bill Gates sent it to Eli. Bill Gates said that, the whole vaccine thing's not working out like it's supposed to, with all the deaths and everything, you can't make this crap up.
They weren't getting the numbers that they wanted. The people... They believed more people were going to get the vaccine before they started standing up so they would have control over more people, and it didn't happen. So now they got to figure out another narrative to come out with.
Well, whether you believe it to be nefarious or not, I believe it to be quite nefarious because after a while, you start seeing things over and over and over again. And the same narrative. I don't know, maybe Eli can Google Bill Gates gets rid of the vaccines. I know that we've got on the Gateway Pundit, we've got Anthony Fauci admits that he didn't the vaccines weren't working out and they need more boosters. I don't seem to have it right here.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when I was coming into the studio this morning, the marquees on the highway have been pretty quiet for a while. Now they have, you need to get your booster. Go to your turn. Now they're putting it on the highway again.
It's going to be more recent than that. It was.
We all know Bill Gates.
Yeah, look at all these discusses the importance of the global vaccine distribution.
He's an evil man.
It's 13 seconds, and it's. Well, that's there's. I think it's in Scotland. You might at the global conference. It's going to be vaccines. Try that. Try vaccines and see what comes up there. Not that. Scroll down. I don't see it. I'll see if I can find it. But it's just nuts. I'm not. Oh God! The problem right now is I'm swimming in this crap, and
let's see. Try Citizen Free Press, maybe.
It might have been on Rumble.
Bill Gates admits mRNA vaccines aren't working.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Try that. No, it's Bill Gates doesn't.
Well, I've got it. I've got it on Citizen Free Press.
Bill Gates. Yeah, try that. Worse than you thought, diabolical, destroy your life. Wow.
Let's see. It was on November 11th.
Yeah, it's on November 11th because it just happened.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's try this.
Yeah, it came right up for me. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, no, isn't that interesting that it's...
I don't know how to... Let's see if I can send this...
Well, you just copy and paste the link.
If I can.
Yeah,
put this over to Eli.
Yeah, copy and paste that, and let's see, because it's kind of interesting that, there's all of this stuff going on, and then a lot of this stuff gets scrubbed or taken off there, but it should still be there. And
I'm sending it now, so...
Yeah, let's see what it comes up with. In the meantime... maybe what we can do is we'll talk a little bit more about this article till he gets it up. Let's see if that's it. Yeah, let's see, Jimmy Hunt. Yeah, that doesn't. I
should
can't
be the first one.
Try it. No, because that's 32.
No,
that's not it.
I guess I was wrong. It says it is, but it's not.
Yeah, see, it's easy. I don't want to get too sidetracked on this, but maybe I'll pull it up. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm looking for.
Economic damage, the deaths, it's been completely horrific. And I would expect that will lead the R&D budgets to be focused on things we didn't have today. We didn't have vaccines that block transmission. We got vaccines that help you with your health, but they only slightly reduce the transmissions. We need a new way of doing the vaccines.
Okay, so the one that what you take away from that is they're still spreading it. The vaccines are spreading it, and there's a lot more death than we thought with all the deaths and everything. So he's admitting that the vaccines aren't working. Okay, and go to Gateway Pundit and Gateway Pundit and pull that down, and that talks about the same thing with Fauci saying it's not working. So what they comes down to, these guys all want more money for research and development because what they just did is not working. There's been no long-term trials. We know all this crap.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a perception deception once again. All right. So we go down through this stuff.
And it's been that way the whole time with Fauci, especially. One day it's this way, the next day it's another way. From the very beginning of this. From the very beginning. Yes. No, he didn't make it up in a lab. It didn't come from Wuhan. There wasn't any money involved. And then, oh, yes, there was,
Keep going. You'll see it. They'll show a picture of Fauci. There's a lot of headlines going through right now. It's insane. But just keep going. And when you see Fauci, that should be him. There's that mountain bike, that mountain guy there. Go to the next page. The one guy on the bike.
That ended up with that POTS syndrome or whatever because of it. Yeah.
Fauci blasted could use to destroy the president. No, that's not it. It's not it. Those are all. It was on Sunday. I mean, look right there. Dr. Fauci admits the vaccines did not work as advertised. It's right there.
And then it says, of course, promoting more shots will end this problem.
I listened to it. That's exactly what he did. Of course, the booster's going to be, and you can follow this stuff up, and you can see So
how many boosters are we up to now? 7, 8?
I don't even know.
Oh, crazy.
So it doesn't. But it doesn't work. Okay?
I know, exactly.
And you can still spread it. What's the point of it all? So go back to the bison.
Because you won't get it as bad.
Go back to page 1.
You won't get it as bad. That's what some of the vaccinated people say. Oh, you just won't get it.
Now there's a bike guy right up there. Go. No internet? Whoa, what happened there? All right, there's a bike guy there.
Right. Oh, I thought that was him up there.
Yeah, this guy was a professional bike guy. And right there, devastating video, mountain bike national. So here's a guy that got the vax because he was done what he was told, and he's out of it. He's been diagnosed with pericarditis, POTS.
POTS is the nerve disorder.
And the guy's crying because he's being attacked from both sides. We have played the video on the radio yesterday. They probably have the video if you want to scroll it down a little bit and see what's there, but.
Yeah, his life life has been ruined because of it.
Go ahead and play that.
But it's so hard to just be constantly berated by people all the time just for trying to share my story. And all I've tried to do this whole time is advocate for a conversation. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or tell you what not to do. I'm just saying, here's a data point that you can look at and factor into your decision, because I will tell you right now that my life has completely changed. And I've lost friends, I've lost family members, I've lost all of these things just by going through this situation. And I got vaccinated to try to do my part. And, I got injured, which sucks, and it's a rare thing, right? But it doesn't feel rare when it happens to you. But if I would have got COVID and if I would have had all these same symptoms and dealt with this whole thing through COVID, I wouldn't be hated so much. I don't know how the toxicity of people has become worse than the disease that we're fighting. We've done such a shitty job as people of trying to remain human. It's so hard because people don't know what this is like until it happens to you. And I empathize with people that have had issues with COVID. I empathize with people that have had other issues throughout the pandemic or other things, right? But to be injured by this thing that's so toxic in society, where you can't even talk and you can't get support, you can't tell people, even I had a hard time finding a therapist because when you say vaccine injury, they're like, oh, you're crazy. And it's like, I don't know what we're supposed to do as people. And I'm just sad at where we are right now. And like I said, I'm going to take a break for a while. And so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of post this.
That's
like
good
I said,
enough for
I'm
you.
sorry that I can't continue to speak out for the people.
So the point is we're right back to the perception deception, is that you've got people so brainwashed that they won't even listen to a guy that says he's had vaccine injury.
Right.
Okay. You got, because what the media is promoted, the government is promoted at all levels is this deception that the vaccine is good for you.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah.
You
There's
can't
no
have
side
anybody.
effects.
So this
There's
is about
no nothing.
control. This is about, staying in line. This is about doing what you're told. This is about shut up and take it.
Yeah.
And that's why people are standing up. And I go back to this article, another recall attempt among many. Well, they tell a little bit of truth here, because why are there so many recall attempts?
Yeah, I was going to say, they make it sound like just Shasta County is the only one. This is happening across the country. People are starting to recall these people at Board of Supervisors and, in the education system and everything.
Then the town of Placerville in El Dorado County near Sacramento is known as Old Hangtown, a reference to the extrajudicial killings that were once carried out in the town square. I mean... These people...
What town didn't back in the Western days?
Well, these people are so full of crap. It's unbelievable. All right? That heritage, viewed as a symbol of a racist past... I mean, are we getting the same constant...
Wow. Racist, no matter what.
Proved to be a flashpoint earlier this year. It has nothing to do with the fact that these guys are out of control. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're not listening to their constituents. It has nothing to do that it's all about the money coming from Sacramento to do what you're told. It has nothing to do with
what we're founded on. It has nothing to do with our Constitution and what we were founded on, and what our job is to keep that Constitution in place and have our freedom and liberties. Has nothing to do with that. That
heritage proved to be a flashpoint earlier in the year when the Placerville City Council voted to erase the noose from the city's logo. It's maybe you need to remember back in the day that people were hanged for murder or stealing or horse theft. Maybe people need to know that. Maybe that is our heritage. Maybe you don't erase that. What does that got to do with racism?
I'm pretty sure it didn't matter what color you were, where you came from. When you stole the horse, you were a horse thief, and the outcome was the same.
These people's perception of reality has been so twisted out, it's absolutely off the charts. You can't even make this up. They're coming after our business. Here's the next stage. Okay. Combined with their rage over pandemic restrictions, like making a living, making sure your kids are educated, making sure
you don't make them sick, make sure that they have a social life.
Having a responsibility that they won't get vaccine injured.
Tell them the truth.
Yeah. They're coming after every business, every noose that's around this town. They're coming after everything. Really, said Placerville resident Mandy Rodriguez said at a city council. The virus, criticism, racism, wokeism is going to destroy your country. Yeah, she's right.
So you guys need to stop spewing it.
Unbelievable. So but the people are talking that are getting this handed down to them. They're just a bunch of morons as far as these guys are concerned. Let's go pull up that other clip that I've got sent out to you. The one about the. Let me see if I've got it here on mine. Let's do the top one, the TikTok one. This is a parent at one of the meetings. So this is a parent in Virginia at the public school. She's actually a public school teacher who has a message for parents, teachers, and students. They give her a minute. Okay, that's not curbing your free speech, is it? They give her a minute to speak at the school board meeting. Go ahead.
I'm going to give
a medical exemption.
I'm sorry?
You have a medical exemption for
I do.
mask? Okay. You've been cleared by staff. Can someone?
Yes, I have. Can I have my full minute, please?
You may.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for staff to give me a thumbs up that the medical exemption was granted.
It's unbelievable.
You know, it's actually embarrassing that you have to ask me that question in front of hundreds of people here. That's discrimination against HIPAA. It is. I can't ask you if you're gay. I can't ask you if you have herpes. You can't ask me about my medical exemption. I can't ask you if you're pregnant. You can't ask me that question.
Would you like your minute now?
I would love my minute, yes. Thank you.
The clock.
I'm a Fairfax County public school teacher, and I'm going to give a message of encouragement to parents and teachers and students who are too afraid to come and speak forward. Parents, the longer that you wait and you don't hold your child's schools accountable gives these guys more time to dictate what's best for your child's physical, mental, and emotional health. Don't be afraid to speak out for your kids because they are voiceless and they rely on you. You should be afraid of them rooting for socialism by the time they get to middle school. Teachers, it may seem that our careers have come to a dead end, but I'm here to remind you we don't work for the school board. We work to mold the next generation of well-rounded American patriots. So don't give up because it is up to us. Students, you are on the front lines of these indoctrination camps. Challenge the staff when you're presented with a ludicrous statement and do not allow anybody to tell you that you cannot accomplish anything because of your skin color or to hate yourself because of your skin color. Students, it is up to you to be the next generation of victims or victors. And finally, to the board, this isn't over, and your policies are just as pathetic as making us wear masks.
Nick Gofford, followed by Ryan.
Wow, they wouldn't even let her finish even at that.
And there's another violent extremist there who's trying to make sure that people are being held accountable for the education of their students.
She was very violent there.
That's what I'm talking about. This is all about perception. The people that read these articles in the paper and believe anything that's said at this point, you're a freaking moron. They're liars. All they want to do is and they're controlled. I mean, it's pretty obvious after a while that somebody's controlling this whole narrative. And
oh yeah, because if they don't follow it, they don't have a job. So they're selling their soul.
Couldn't be the Chinese or anything, could
Yeah,
it? Oh,
I'm
that's
just
just
saying.
conspiracy. Oh, what I just said was violent. This is just so stupid that, you know, they call people names. They try. It's just like the one guy. You can't have a conversation with these guys because the one guy yesterday in the chat room that we just have to ban him because all they want to do is call names. All they want to do is call names to try to pick a fight, and then it's like being in school.
You're the bad person.
It's like being in school. Some punk, messes with you over and over and over and over again, and then they finally get punched in the mouth, and then they run to tell on you. Even though
you're the bad person.
And
you were violent.
They deserved to get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Okay? But that's what we're talking about. Now, we're at a different level.
What do you mean? I can't be a bully?
Okay, they're kind of like the Carlos Zapata thing. The guy provokes him and provokes him and provokes him. Now, I'm not saying what Carlos did. I don't even think he did anything wrong. He was charged with disturbing the peace is what he got convicted of. Wow, that's a misdemeanor that should go to court and spend millions of dollars on trial.
Disruption.
It's unbelievable. But that's why the people are standing up. That's why this perception, they're losing the narrative. They're losing the narrative of people believing anything that these guys say because you say, hey, don't teach my race theory to my kid, and they go, you're a violent extremist. That's what they're doing. And
and it's just not, it doesn't stop there. I mean, the sexual piece in school is just beyond that they're teaching kids, and parents stand up and they do the same thing with that.
And they try to wrap this all up in one big bow. Okay, so in some cases, lawmakers have professed conspiracy theories and even have been been dues-paying members of the Oath Keepers, a militia group that carried out violence on the January 6th insurrection.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're trying to wrap this all up in one big...
Everybody is one, huh?
Everybody,
on that side.
The parents are probably were at the January 6th insurrection. Only
there wasn't an insurrection?
Yeah, and the guys are being held without bail, without due process, completely circumventing their constitutional rights because they're such bad people, and they're probably related to these parents.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying.
But the health organizations, they're not bad, but they're telling people to do stuff to harms people and kills people, but that's not bad.
So at least one California sheriff, Chad Bianco, is among the Oath Keepers' rolls, and U.S. Representative Doug LaMalfa, the Republican congressman from Reading, who refused to vote to certify the presidential election. What? What is,
Wow, did I skip a beat somewhere on that?
And he made an appearance with Zapata, the head of the local militia. So it just goes on and on and on and on. This dribble of trying to plant the seed, the perception deception that everybody's screwed up that says anything against the government.
Except the government.
That's right. The government
Except
is
the
here
government.
to save you. Get your free food, get your free cheese, go on welfare, get your Social Security, make sure that you're getting your handouts. It doesn't matter if you lose your job, there's assistance for you. You'll own nothing and everybody will like it.
Yes.
Do what you're told, sit down and shut up. That's the message.
Until we won't allow you to have it anymore.
Well, what happens in these places when the government controls everything?
That's what I'm saying. And then everybody thinks it's fine and dandy. And then all of a sudden the government goes, guess what? You don't get no food this week. Or guess what? You don't get this.
And I'm going to end this part of this thing with Rickard said members of the group were so obsessed with individual rights that they forgot that their choices had serious repercussions on their neighbors during the pandemic. What? Are you freaking kidding me? So if I choose not to get vaxxed because you're a moron that goes and gets vaxxed and you have an adverse reaction, even though my immunity has been proved to be better than your vax, I'm somehow using, I need to give up all my rights so I don't hurt my neighbor?
Yeah. And this is from a person that thinks the only good thing is cows. Haven't you heard her time and time again? All I care about is my cows. My cows, my cows.
This fall, Shasta County has had some of the highest COVID rate cases in the state. Well, we just saw an article that said that all of these testing kits were off by 90% and they're all screwed up. So none of the cases, and there's no deaths, and nobody dies. And the ones that die.
If you label everything COVID, if you label everything
You get run over by a
the
truck.
county, COVID.
The hospitals are so
maybe.
swamped with unvaccinated patients, which is complete bullshit too, because you get to vax, you have an adverse reaction, or you get the COVID. 3 days later, they put you in the hospital and they say you weren't vaxxed.
Right. What's it take? 14 days or something before they even?
I think
say.
they've even moved. I think it's 21 now.
Oh, there you go.
The two main centers, while they fire the people that won't get vaxxed, that have been there since the beginning, so they create a shortage of the staff. And they say,
Right, so
medics
they
to
get
overwhelm this
overwhelmed,
medical
yeah.
staff. Oh, really? So you fire all the guys that were doing the job anyway because they won't get your vax. As a society, there's a certain amount of respecting the rights of others. You know something? Maybe you should respect our rights a little bit. You say, oh, well, you got to respect the rights of the rest of the county. What about our rights? We just throw our rights away so that because they're afraid? It's unbelievable. And that's what... And that's what I think what really lost on this recall group. Really,
Yeah.
these people lie every step of the way.
What concerns Modi, the former chief of police, is there's no thoughtful, civic-minded people who will want to become public servants if they're under constant personal attack from the extremists.
The extreme fringe. Yeah, the guys that are trying to get them out of there so that they can run for the board of supervisors, so they can stop this crap.
So exactly.
So they can stop this
people taking our freedoms.
Not just that, this $600 million budget that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You got these guys bribing everybody to work for the government. As long as you get vaxxed and do what you're told, you'll be taken care of. And that's what they did with the CARES money. I mean, people. Here's that last part. People can just sit there and tell lies and stuff and come to board meetings. Really, like Modi, the guy that was convicted by the grand jury and he lied about it. He never said he went out there to his place while everybody else was burning. He's out there putting fuel
No, he
in his
said something like, "I shouldn't have done it."
Well, he didn't even tell the truth to begin with. It wasn't until
he got caught with
until he got caught
in
and convicted.
Cookie jar, yeah.
So that's the story with that. Now let's go ahead and run that other clip. I want to look at that one. It's
so you just got to wonder how many other things he's done that he didn't get caught with yet.
So this do the smoking gun clip. This is very interesting. that you know, and
yes.
I'm not saying that this is what happened, but it sure seems pretty funny that people like this know exactly what is going on in the future. This is 1995. Go ahead and roll the clip. It's not very long.
Biologique, il y a plus que les tempêtes organisées par les champs électromagnétiques. Il y a également la pollution que nous mettrons dans le sang et dans les veines de l'humanité en créant des infections. Et ensuite de ça, ayant créé ces infections volontairement, on créera des lois qui obligera la population à se faire donner des vaccins. Et dans ces vaccins, il y aura tout ce qu'il faut pour que vous puissiez être contrôlé. On introduira dans ces vaccins des cristaux liquides. Ces cristaux se logeront dans les cellules de votre cerveau et ils deviendront des micro-récepteurs à des champs électromagnétiques envoyés par des ondes ultrasoniques à très très basse fréquence. Et avec ces ondes à très basse fréquence, on pourra vous empêcher de penser. On pourra faire de vous des zombies. Et n'allez pas croire que je suis au stage où je pense ou c'est
Okay, but this was in 1995, so what, 25, 26 years ago,
Okay.
something like that?
My point is that maybe he sat in on the wrong meeting or something. But the real deal is that when you start analyzing everything, when you start seeing our rights go away, this perception deception out of China, and we'll go more into that on the next round. I mean, we'll play the rest of that clip next week.
Yeah, and the vaccines, there's no way you can get all the ingredients because they make it so it's very hard to know.
They don't tell you what the ingredients
I'm not
are.
saying for sure if there's that in there. I'm just saying, why aren't you out front with what's in the vaccine?
They don't tell you what's in it. They may you have to take it or you'll lose if you don't have your vaccine card. You'll lose your rights, all of it. Anyway, I think we're at the end here, and hey,
and I'm sure we're going to be talking about this more and more as more information comes out about the ingredients and different things.
Make sure you share this content if you like it. Get it out there. We need your help, and don't forget to send us a check to Pecan
at 14421 Old Oregon Trail, Suite B, Redding, California 96003.
We'll see you next week.
All right, next week.